Bada boom, bada bing. Up in the top left side, it is going to be EG.ThorZain showing us such an outstanding game in game number 1. Was not able to pull it out quite yet. However, never underestimate a Terran player in the mid game, especially someone of EG.ThorZain's caliber, as he is just freaking good. And down in the bottom right side, it is going to be mouse's HasuObs, as he was currently able to win that last game, but it was a tough fight. You have to make sure in HasuObs' position that you watch out for ThorZain's mid game, because if he's that strong in the late game, watch out for his mid game timings. We did see some drop action coming out of ThorZain in that last game, but as Day9 kind of mentioned before, there wasn't a whole lot of dropping going on, as I think we saw a total of 1 drop, maybe 2, but it definitely wasn't lots of multi-pronged drops, as a lot of Terran players, what they try and do is attack maybe a third base, drop the second or the main base, just to try and split up that army a little bit. Do you have any thoughts about ThorZain's play in the last game?
Well, I mean, it's honestly the difference between the aggressive Terran player like Teja and then someone like ThorZain. There's no attempt from ThorZain to do any of the whittling away in the way that HasuObs slowly whittled away ThorZain. The foods were staying kind of the same. They were both at around 170 to 200, but you saw HasuObs continuing to climb and money count, and ThorZain was kind of staying the same. And then finally, when a couple of engagements happened, it didn't even really matter that ThorZain was having way the better end of it. Hasu just had so many more resources. So again, it looks like ThorZain is not going to be doing anything too out of the ordinary. He's going to be going for a barracks fast command center combo. And of course, Hasu will probably do the standard, build himself a zealot.
Indeed, right now. And right now, I'm kind of curious to see exactly if they are going to be playing completely standard again. Are there any kind of crazy builds that you've seen out of either of these players, or is it mostly just straight up macro?
Well, I mean, ThorZain does do the sort of 2 barracks in the middle of the map kind of cheese. He's absolutely been known to do this sort of thing. He occasionally will go for some extra barracks and just do the aggression right out the bat, but not really. I mean, the craziest I've seen Hasu do is some sort of 1 base, 4 gate with warp prism play, but even then, both players have incredible comfort in the long-term game, and if I'm Hasu, I'm going to be thinking, yes, I have what it takes to take down ThorZain in his strongest area. No reason to overthink it.
Hasu going to be saving up some money here, which is going to show ThorZain, hey, it's time to expand. And the probe was well hidden here. The SCV is going to catch wind of what's going on, but it's going to be a second or two too late. Is not going to be able to drop down an engineering bay or anything else to delay that. However, he wasn't really going to be able to delay that anyways, because with the Zealot first here, he's going to be able to clean that up super easily. And the SCV, though, does survive quite a bit. Oh, excuse me, the Cybercore is in the back. Warpgate has begun researching. The command center on the way here for ThorZain as well, adding on the additional barracks here. So, I don't know about you, Day9, but I don't see anything super wacky yet.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that what ThorZain's doing is wacky because he's going double gas with only 2 barracks. Oh my! But this is ThorZain's standard play. You'll notice that there's actually, wow, that's interesting, 3 in each geyser. Ordinarily, he is a fan of 2 in each geyser, but looks like he's delayed his gases a smidge to be able to plop down both those reactor and tech lab at the same time.
And that does allow you to actually put on a surprising amount of pressure off only 2 barracks. It's one of those things where if you're playing on ladder, you're like, oh, I'll get 2 barracks right away and put on pressure. And, you know, players hold it off all the time. And then you're like, well, obviously I couldn't expand and then do that. But you got to remember that if your opponent is going for a macro play, such as what Hasu is doing, that the delayed pressure can actually do a surprising amount of damage, even though it's the same amount of units just a little bit later. The bunker going to be going down here for ThorZain. He's just a little bit skeptical as to what his opponent is definitely capable of right now. And I feel like throwing down a bunker, especially on this map, is such a good idea because you can just bust down the rocks on the right side, and then since you've already secured the ramp, there's really only 1 entrance into what would be now your 3rd base. And the soccer is going to be moving out here. I think he's sent that to the 3rd base to see if there's anything hidden going on. I really like this. He's also swinging it around to the center right side, scouting both of those locations and just not letting a hidden expansion take him by surprise.
It is possible to do a 3-gate push in the way that HasuObs has set up his base right now, but given that we see that Robo facility going down, he's probably just going to be doing something a little bit more observer-focused, a little bit more space control-y. But, I mean, this is kind of a surprising... I guess I'm a little confused, just knowing... I mean, an average Protoss would play exactly the way HasuObs is playing, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But knowing HasuObs, I'm curious as to why he didn't get his Robo Bay up earlier. I mean, he doesn't normally like to get too many Immortals before getting the Colossus.
Robo is going to be finishing up here relatively soon. The factory going to be finishing up as well, and the engineering bay right there. So ThorZain still kind of sitting back, investing in a lot of buildings that are not going to allow him to attack this absolute second. And does finally finish his wall in here, so he should be relatively safe. Because, I mean, there's not going to be any Colossus anytime soon. You can see the potential for Colossus tech has just begun. A lot of times you can see the Warp Prism speed upgrade, not nearly as much in this matchup, though. So it could very easily be used for that Colossus. And ThorZain starting to get his economy on track, starting to get a little bit of momentum that Terran players always have in the mid-game if they haven't suffered any sort of economic damage. And even kind of using a backup wall here at the expansion. I love this by ThorZain. But we do see one missile turret going down at the natural. Is this in case a DT slips in? Is that what he's worried about here?
It really looks that way. I mean, ThorZain is the kind to prepare for pretty much everything, and he hasn't really heard a peep out of his opponent in a long time, so he may as well just hang out for a bit. So he's going to play defensively, and ooh, I like this play from HasuObs. Look at this. He is getting the extended thermal lance. Is he going to be getting Colossus following it up? It would be unusual to see him not do that, but man, that is a fast frickin' Forge combo with the Twilight Council. I mean, and blink now. Whoa! So this, you just don't see this build out of HasuObs. I'm thoroughly confused and will therefore pass it back to you.
Indeed. I'm always confused though, Sean, but you can just go ahead and pass all day long. But what I'm confused about, being is that I'm confused, that he's getting a lot of different upgrades right now. So he's going to have to be super, super careful. He's got the +1, the thermal lance, the blink. All of this is not going to be useful with your small, dinky army in the center of the map. There's a stim being used right there. ThorZain didn't know that the army was caught out in the center of the map there. Could have done more damage right now. But I think what he's going to have to do is maybe even force field the ramp here. It's only going to last so long as the double medevac is now done here. The first Colossus going to spawn. He's got the Stalkers on the high ground here. So every second that goes by, it's getting more and more likely he'll be able to hold this off because those upgrades will kick in. Thermal Lance almost done. And ThorZain, I wouldn't say he missed his chance, but it's definitely going to be much more tough if he decides to attack right now, just because those upgrades are going to start kicking in. Same with those 3 gateways.
Wow, this is a very nice opening from Hasu. I mean, ThorZain is normally the one you credit for being the build order master, getting a lot more out than you think would be possible. But in this very game, we are seeing ThorZain get just totally out build ordered by Hasu. Hasu already has blink +1, 6 gateways, 2 Colossus. I mean, you can actually just do a huge 2-base counter push as Hasu, like right now.
Did leave himself very vulnerable by going for the early upgrades, but they are going to pay off as Protoss usually does. If you take the risks, they will pay off in this way because it's, you know, so many tier 3 options to go for, and he decided to go for the Colossus tech with that range +2 attack is on the way.
What is Hasu doing? Why is he sending this out that way? That's going to be really vulnerable.
That's an outrageous army to be sending for 1 Marine, and does ThorZain bite? Nope, not quite yet. Could have intercepted some of the units there, so that was definitely a danger. We do see potential for a drop here on the left side. Any drops going down on the right side? Not quite yet. Hasu has to be so careful with this army in the center. They are quite split up, and they could take a surprising amount of damage. Did blink forward here, which means if that stims and charges in, could do some damage, but Hasu is not overextending himself here. He's being very, I wouldn't say patient, as he hasn't waited for the rest of the army there, but did not overextend himself, and the pressure's going to start soon.
This is kind of incredible, though, that you're seeing so many Stalkers and Colossus out this early for a big attack, and oh my gosh, it looks like there's the blink forward, and 1-1 about to finish, but this is the exact kind of damage that Hasu was hoping for. He has eliminated all the Vikings with ease, and look at that Husky blinking back using the force fields, a near perfect attack execution by Hasu.
Yeah, taking a look at the units lost here, it's going to start favoring Protoss as he did finish off those medevacs. 3 medevacs there for free. Down they go, and the medevacs especially are super important right now because he's going to start making Vikings. He can't afford to get out any more medevacs. Has pulled off some SCVs preemptively off of that expansion, knowing he's going to have to mass repair here. I don't know if he's going to be able to hang on as the Colossus is going to be able to attack from afar, although he does decide to blink in, or at least run up there and then blink back there. He did take a little extra damage on those units, which means he can now take out the supply depots. Even being risky with how he uses his Stalkers are paying off in a big, big way, killing off a lot of those depots there, and the other one may even burn down. Goodbye, depot. But right now, Hasu taking the risk, is even going to be warping in on the high ground, using the Colossus to spot that, can just run right into that mineral line completely uncontested.
God, Hasu's using every tactic in the book and now pulling a lot of the Marauders back, and there is the repush up to the front door. He is able to make 3 Vikings at a time. He blinks up, but immediately has to pull back. One of those Colossi does fall. And in the midst of all this, Hasu is continuing to upgrade. He has +2 attack, is going for the 1 armor, but it looks like ThorZain is slowly stabilizing.
Now, do remember that I don't know how many kills the first Colossus had, but the second one has 14. And this is not versus Zerg. You are not killing Broodlings or something else that's worthless. That is 14 very useful units for ThorZain. A lot of them going to be the SCVs here. They're trying to engage her. They are pulled off the line right now, and it does look like he is not going to be able to hold there.